Mom and Dad, Heartless Disseminator is not for kids.
Where you at, mes amis? This is HD, the Harvest Disseminator, bringing you a review of the ToyBiz Uncanny X-Men 1993 Brood. And without further ado, let's chop 'em up. In this review, I want to look at the Brood as potential army builders to scale, which is 6-inch figures. I will break down the articulation, etc., put them in some different poses. I do have a few of these, and we will take a look at them. But first, let us take a look at the packaging. Of course, with the evil mutants, you always got the purple fading into the lighter purple or the gray. Of course, the good ones, and here's Hasbro's rendition of it. Yeah, the orange going into the yellow. So this packaging looks really good, brings back a lot of memories, great nostalgia. You will have a great artistic depiction of the Brood right here. Of course, its title right there. All of the figures came with a card. This one has a Wolverine card there inside, and now that's a touch Hasbro should possibly put on their figures. Probably not going to do it, but it would have been nice. You do have here in the upper left hand corner some artistic depictions of some other bad guys in the line. Of course, you have Omega Red, Apocalypse, I believe Ahab. I'm not sure which one of those are. Ahab, Sabretooth, of course the Brood right there. It does say attack action, which he does have some action going on with a button on his back, which is really good. You have the ToyBiz insignia down here at the very bottom down there. And so now let us take a look at the back of the packaging. At the back, you will have a catalog of the different figures in the line. And every time you look at this, it brings back so much nostalgia. So here we go, y'all. We have several good and evil mutants. You will have this, I guess, instructional portion in blue here. You press the button and it causes his wings to flap and his mouth to open. You have a biography. Go ahead and pause it and read it if you would like to. Let me just emphasize, if anybody at Hasbro watches this, I think it would be great if Hasbro would re-release at least, this guy right here, Strife, here in the wave. This is a very expensive figure, hard to get a hold of, and he's amazing, man. If you don't have Strife in your collection, I highly recommend them. You putting them in your collection, but I know the price point's real high, man. I know he goes for like $100 today. I remember when he was on the shelf at Toys R Us, man, for $20. It's plenty of them, and but yeah, hard to come by now, man. So it would be great if anybody at Hasbro sees this, re-release this guy, give us some new paint, man. The articulation is great on this guy. It's very pliable with this type of plastic. So yeah, this is the packaging for this guy. Now let's go ahead and get him out the box and see exactly what he can do. And here is the Brood out of the box. And man, I have to say that out of that whole 1990s Uncanny X-Men, Uncanny X-Force wave from ToyBiz, in my opinion all mine, this was the best sculpted and executed figure that they produced, man. Because some of those toys, action figures, I mean, the sculpt wasn't done very well, but man, just the detail in this guy's teeth, his head, his face, his body. Could it be better? Of course. Could the paint job be better? Absolutely. But you know what? If you customize, you could put a badass paint job on this dude, man, and spiff him right up. The articulation, is it limited? Yeah, but it's still really cool at the same time. All right, as we'll take a look at. Again, opinion all mine, but yeah, to me, this was the best figure that came out of that line. He was great, man, and in my opinion, he does scale pretty decently with 6-inch figures, and we'll take a look at that as well. So yes, I'm going to give you my polemic here in the review. If not a polemic, an idea that you might be able to use. You might want to army build these guys too. The good news is this, man, that these guys are generally inexpensive. You can find them sometimes for as cheap as $5 on eBay. I found a few of them for $5. I did pay like $15 for some of them, but they were new in the box, you know, so can't hate on somebody selling it for 15 brand new in the box. Like this guy, I mean, he's fresh out the package, you know. He's never been played with before, untouched. So, yeah, I don't mind paying $15 for that. But I do have a few of them that came loose for $5, and you really can't go wrong with that if you do want an army build. I also bought and I started to review the figures in the Queen Brood Builder figure wave. I have the whole wave, and my next review, because my time's so limited, y'all, I'm just going to cut to the chase, and I am going to review that entire wave in one big swoop. I did Danger already, and I will review the Brood Queen and you know, present that to you, because there's not many reviews out there on YouTube of the Queen Brood. I want to look at her articulation in detail and see exactly what she's about. So yeah, y'all, let's get this bad boy off the stand and check him out. Firstly, let us take a look at the head sculpt and body sculpt of the figure. Again, the details on this man are good. You have this painted symbol here on top of its head, and I'm sure that's, you know, in the comic books, that's just there. It's innate with being. Great looking teeth, man. I mean, the teeth look better than some Marvel Legends. All right, and painted better than some Marvel Legends on top of that. So I like the little warts on its face right there, man. That's great attention to detail. The gums came out really good. The teeth look great, and if you wanted to, you could paint some blood on those teeth if you wanted to. Now look, you will see a pin right here, but again, y'all, this is 1990s. This is before the Marvel Legends line came out, to my knowledge. I believe Marvel Legends ToyBiz, that started in like the 2000s, to my knowledge. I could be wrong. Might have been late 90s, but I'm not sure. But man, it looks really good. You got the yellow eyes right there. You do have the dual tone with the paints right here. You have like this army green, and then you have like this desert brown back there, and all of that looks really good. Here we could take a look at the back of the head. Even you have this wrinkling going on. That looks just really good, man, for a figure coming out in 1993. And I'm gonna look at this more when we look at the articulation. But you press the button here, and the wings will flap. Hold on, I got them caught up right here. The wings will flap, and the mouth will open here, so you can see inside of the mouth. It is painted pink in there, and to me, it looks decent for what it is. Again, man, customized. You could paint inside of there if you wanted to. Figure out how to take it apart. Paint the inside of the mouth. So there's a lot of possibilities with customizing this guy in terms of the paint, putting a good wash through the veins right there, or doing some dry brushing. But take a look at this. You can see the veins right there in its chest, and they put these little warts, moles for lack of a better word, here throughout the body, man. That looks really good. You're gonna find that on the arms as well. You're gonna find those bumps going on right there. Same thing on the back. You'll have some bigger ones going on back here. And then here's the dual tone again, that army green with the desert brown. Looks really nice. So here you go, man. You got it. You got this wrinkling going on in its waist right there. More of the warts. Just great sculpt in my opinion, man, for the 90s. Now, with the tail, it would have been nice if there was a bendy wire in it, and there's not. So maybe if Hasbro, look, if you make these guys an army building, because that is the rumor that you're at least considering building these guys, a bendy wire in the tail would be nice. Now, Marvel Select did release these guys too, with the 2-pack. It was the Brood, and it was also the Skrull. And I don't have any of those. They're expensive. I'm not going to army build them, man. I don't want the Brood that much right now. But this is a great cheap alternative. But I'm not sure if there's bendy wire in their tails, but that would have been a nice touch. All right. And here's the thing with the tail. The one bad thing is that, of course, when you spin it, it breaks up the sculpt, right? So some kind of bendy wire in there would have been nice to prevent some of that from happening. But it is what it is, man, for a cheap figure. And again, you do have the sculpting going on here throughout at the bottom. You will have some wrinkling going on over here when you get to this part of its tail. And of course, you do have these teeth coming out right here, or spikes or stingers, what have you. I've read the comics with the Broods, like the first appearances, and of course, the Brood came to New Orleans and took over the Thieves Guild. It took over the kids of the Thieves Guild, and Julian Boudreaux was working. in conjunction with the Brood Queen. Yeah, it's a good story, man. I like it at least. The Brood came here to my city and kidnapped some kids, and the X-Men came down and liberated them, right? Gambit and what's his name? Ghost Rider was in that story as well. So this all looks really good, y'all. So basically, man, that's the sculpt of the body right here. You will have this stinger right here on his arms, excuse me. And so, and then he has these two legs, and they seem to be sculpted very similarly. I mean, it is a different sculpt with the back leg and the front leg right here. This one will have two toes, whereas this one has a little knob on the back, and it does have some type of little, sculpt work going on there in it. So it's sculpted nicely for what it is. You can see like muscle imprints there in the sculpt. Same thing with the arm right here. You will have like these muscle imprints. You have some sculpting going on here in the forearm. This says 1993 Marvel Comics right there. No, Marvel, and then it says China, made in China. ToyBiz Incorporated. And so, yeah, man, here's the bottom of his head as well. Let me not leave that out. Of course, you're going to have that there. It's hidden real well when you look at the figure, but there's a pin right here that's connected to the contraption on the inside that articulates it, right? And here's the wings, y'all. The wings are simply clear. And if you don't like the clear wings, again, you could customize those and paint them if you felt like you wanted to. And yeah, I'm sure there's a way to take this guy apart, right? Because he was assembled. You might have to break the guy open. And where you're going to do that, guys, I'm not exactly sure. Maybe right here in the middle, maybe is where they glued it together. I'm not, yeah, I think you'd have to pop them open right here in the middle. To my knowledge, yeah, that's what it seems like. He's glued right down the middle, y'all. You can see the line going in right there. So if you wanted to do some more customization with him, you'd have to pop him open just like a Marvel Legends and go inside and look at all of the contraption in there, which I'm not going to do that, right? I may, but not on this video. And customize one of them further down the line. I didn't even have time to do this review. Much less customize right now, but I might do that with one of them in the future because they're real cheap. Find one on eBay for $5 and just use them for custom fodder, right? And paint the wings. And I have plenty of them here too. I think I have like 6 or 7 of them. So y'all, that is the sculpt right there. Does it break up when you articulate it a little bit, especially with the tail? Yeah, it does. But you know what, personally, man, if you put this guy in a decent pose, you won't even really notice, man. You could, if you do it like that, yeah, you're going to see the green in there. But, it doesn't look that bad if you just take some pictures and you can Photoshop stuff a little bit too if you wanted to. But to me, that doesn't bother me. Now, what does, and it doesn't at the same time, as I wish this was bendy wire. That's really the only thing, man. And you could always paint those pins right there to blend them in a little bit more. And yeah, so there's possibilities for hiding that kind of stuff. But yeah, articulation, that might turn you off. But price point, man, you can't beat. So let us take a look at the articulation of this guy, and I'll put him in some posing and show you how to pose him. Being that, when you press the button, he opens his mouth and it closes right back. So let's take a look at that. Taking a look at the articulation, let me show you that there is this button here on top of the figure, and so this will articulate his wings or her wings, however you look at it, and mouth. Okay, so you press the button, and let me get the tail flipped upside down so you can see this a little bit better. The wings will come out, as you can see. They won't stay out, however, all right? You let the button go, they come right back down. So I had thought initially, look, I'll put a piece of tape back there to keep the wings open if I wanted the wings open, but there's a better way to do that, and I'll show you here in a second. And you can see that it opens and closes the mouth, and then you come up with the problem that, oh man, I want the mouth to stay open. There is a solution for that. As you can see, I have their mouths open and I'm not holding the button. It's real simple, y'all, and you probably know what I'm going to do. So looking at the articulation, the tail is articulated. It is on a swivel here, so you can get a 360 with that. Again, no bendy wire. So you could pose it to the side like this. You could pose it upside down if you needed to, if you wanted to put him in a flying mode with his wings out. So to keep his wings out, all you're going to do is take his back legs, and you're just going to articulate them as far back as they could go. And that actually keeps the wings open. So if you wanted to get this guy in a flying pose, that's what you would do. To do that, you would just bring those legs all the way to the back, and it holds the wings open. So that was very thoughtful that they did that when they made the figure. I like that a lot. So here he is, and you can maybe he's trying to sting somebody, or set it to the side like it's about to swing around and sting someone. So that's a possibility with that. And that's how you keep the wings out, okay? You're just going to bring those legs, open the wings, bring them all. As you can see, look, I'm pressing the button and they're not opening because they're all the way open right now. And you just use the legs. It's kind of like some stays to keep them there. All right, so that's the articulation with the tail and basically the wings as well. Okay, that's how you're going to keep them open. You bring these legs down, and the wings will just come and close right back up. Okay, and they're still going to work. Don't worry, you're not going to break them. All right, and so he does have 6 arms, legs, however you want to say that. Now, what would have been nice if his front arms had a hinge? That would have took it to another level, I must admit. And if Hasbro Army builds those guys, they're gonna have to put some articulation right there, all right, to make it a little bit more articulated. Right now, all these guys can do is just go basically in the 360 with these things with a swivel. There is no articulation at the elbow, okay? But nonetheless, all right, you can get them into some pretty cool poses. You could put them to some attack modes like that, man, or if you wanted to, like he was swinging at somebody, you could do that too. You just have to articulate it in such a way to make it seem like he just swung his arm at somebody, and you know, you could pull some stuff off, right? So for example, let's take Gambit, and his arms articulate like that. He's looking this way. You could like put it to where he just got slashed, right? So there's possibilities with that articulation. It's just about posing them in the correct way. So you could totally get and get some blood effects and make the blood come out even. Yeah, you can do some stuff with these guys, man. So that's a punch pose, in my opinion, with this guy, or a slash pose. So yeah, man, there that is. And so also, he has the articulation here with the with his legs, right? So same thing, they're just going to swivel back and forth. Same thing with this one right here. No articulation at the elbows, okay? Which would have been nice, but you don't have it, okay? So that really, y'all, is the totality of the articulation minus the head. Let me show you this. The head does swivel around, and it doesn't matter how you swivel it. You can swivel it to the side. You press the button, and it still opens up. I'm not sure what the mechanics are on the inside, right? But whatever they did here, man, it works. You know, no matter how you articulate it, how far, you press the button to stay open. And what I'm doing over here, y'all, to keep the mouth open like that, it's real simple. I just took a little wad of paper, and I just put it right there in this groove right here in this jaw. Let's see, let me come in closer. So yeah, that's all I did. And you can make it look nicer than that, man. I just balled up a little piece of paper and threw it there real quick. And you can clean that up and make it look better, right? But you just put that in there, and it keeps his mouth open, and he won't shut it, all right? So that's his articulation, y'all. Pretty simple, but again, in my opinion, you'll get some good poses. So look, this guy can stand. As you see with this one right here, I have him standing here on his back wings and his forelegs, all right? So that's a possibility there. You just put them just like that if you wanted to get them in this kind of a pose right here. Back that up so you could see it a little bit. So that's how you would do this one, okay? Again, bring them right here in the front. You could use that as a kickstand with that leg. That's a possibility for articulation. Or what you can do is you could set him on both of his legs right here, kind of like that. Or I have him on 3 legs right now. All you got to do is bring this down a little bit further, all right? So you could stand him up like that. So that's how he's going to look, standing up like this on his actual legs. And my table's not even. That's why he's moving around a little bit like that. You know, you can put his tail to the side. You know, his arms could put him in a pose, however you feel like he'd be more menacing or threatening, you know, to the figures that he was attacking. And so for flying poses, y'all, I don't know, I wouldn't know how to put this guy actually on a stand, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a wire or a string and hang him by his tail to get him in a flying pose, and then just really edit the wire out, right? And so you would have to attach the wire to his tail. And you notice how I have these legs using the stays for his wings back there. And I put the paper in his mouth. So, you know, this is how you would get him in a flying pose. So say you have Remy up here fighting some of these guys, right? He just threw some cards or something like that at some of them. Get them into a quick pose here, y'all. A little bit quick, but not too good pose. So here's Remy throwing some cards. See if I can get him to stand up. Maybe I won't be able to, since I'm doing this on the fly. And Russian, it uses, there you go. Use this code as a kickstand. And so you can have a menacing brood coming from behind like this. And just, yeah, man, like he's coming in for an attack, right? So all of that's a good possibility, or coming in from the side, however you want that to happen. And you were just hanging from his tail, okay? And then like he's coming right in to attack him, like from behind. Never leave your back unguarded, right? So that's how you do that, y'all. Again, you're just putting his legs back there, got his mouth open, got him in the flying pose right there. To me, it looks good. I like it. That's why I bought so many of these guys. And so here's another pose. With this guy, what I've done is say he just got attacked or shot or something like that, or you wanted to like use some blood effects with a bullet or a card going in and coming out the back. You could stand him up just like that, okay? And so I like that, man. So again, here's Gambit throwing something, went right into his chest, man. Boom, right out the back. So that looks good right there. And I got this guy right here in a similar pose. And these are just some ideas. You might be able to articulate them way better than I can and come up with some better ideas for posing. I'm definitely an amateur, and I'll confess that. I just like playing with action figures, is what it all boils down to. And so, yeah, man, this is the Brood Army Builder if you wanted to do that. So, all right, now I have a total, I thought I had 7. Maybe I do, I don't know, maybe I have another one somewhere else. But right here I have 6, okay? And 6 is plenty, man. And again, you can find some of them for real cheap, build them over time on eBay. There's plenty of them out there. And they're decent little figures for what they are. So now let us do a few comparisons and see really how tall this dude is. So the Brood is going to stand in. If you put him on his 4 legs, he's going to stand in close at 4 inches. All right, and that's without his tail. If you put his tail up, he will stand in at roughly, don't fall over, mon ami, stay standing up for me. I need to get a new table, y'all. I got this folding table, and the figures always fall over because it's right there in that groove. So with that, he's standing at like almost 4.5 inches, all right? At least from where I'm sitting, he's at like 4.5 inches. And I know, man, this isn't like a good, see where it touches right there? It's like 4.5 inches right there with his tail. And so with this guy standing up on his wings and his forelegs and his tail, he stands in the same thing, man, a little over like 4.5 inches, close to 5, getting close to 5, but not quite, right? Like a little over 4.5 inches. So, you know, man, in my take on it, the articulation's pretty good, and not the articulation, his height is pretty good, because in the comic books, again, some of them are kind of smaller. So I think they do fit the bill. And here's the Brood scale next to the Hasbro Marvel Legends Wolverine and the Hasbro Marvel Legends Ultimate Rider, Ghost Rider. And here's the Brood scale next to the Hasbro Marvel Legends Hope Summers and the Hasbro Marvel Legends Cable. And, you know, we desperately need an upgrade with her. The head sculpt and everything's good. I actually like this figure. It's one of my favorite female figures. It's just that the pinless tech would go a long way here. The warping in the legs is just really extreme. Double jointed elbows would be nice too. Here's the Brood scale next to the Hasbro Marvel Legends Bishop and the Hasbro Marvel Legends Psylocke. And here he is scaled next to the Caliban Wave Beast and the Caliban Wave Jubilee. And here it is scaled next to two New Orleans born superheroes. We have the most powerful, beautiful, illustrious Monica Rambeau, the Queen of New Orleans, and the Prince of the French Quarter, this Kid Bash, double-jointed, elbowed Remy LeBeau with the retro hair, known on the streets of the French Quarter simply as Gambit. To sum things up, again, in my opinion, this was the best figure that ToyBiz released in the 1990s Uncanny X-Force line due to the scale. He's actually much bigger than a lot of the other figures, and he scales really well in my opinion with the 6-inch figure. So he is a potential army builder if you're looking to army build Brood at a cheap price. Again, you could find some of them for $5. You go to some secondhand stores, you could find them, except if you get lucky, etc., etc. Even action figure stores that sell older figures, you might find a couple of them on the pegs for $10. In my opinion, they're worth picking up. I know if I find some more for $10, and I have 6 of them that I've counted, thought I had 7, I'll pick up more. Why not for $5? The articulation is decent. You will have to use a couple of gimmicks to keep its mouth open. That's alright. For $5, I'm willing to do that. There's potential to customize this figure, repaint it, give it a wash or dry brush it, the details. So there's a lot of possibilities here with this figure if you're a customizer. And yeah, man, overall I think he's legit. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. If you haven't subscribed, y'all, go ahead and consider subscribing. If you're watching this on your mobile device, your thumb is right there by the like or dislike button. So hit one of those, give the video a rating. It helps out my channel. It goes a long way, and I really appreciate it. So look, y'all, till next time, as we say here in the Big Easy, laissez les bons temps rouler, mes amis.